Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck onto the reverse side of the disc, look! In a scribbled word or two, it looks like somebody's name. For McGilded. McGilded? It couldn't be. But it is, Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget, for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this? Why indeed? Look at all the little bumps on the disc, they're so tiny. Yes, the protrusions are called pins, and they plug the teeth of the comb that make notes. And just on the edge there's a small amount of blood. Yes, the blood of the mysterious Mr. Agate Benedict. When Mr. Strahd tried to grab the disc from him, the pin scratched his fingers, it seems. Like when you're grating some daikon radish and accidentally catch your finger. Ouch, just thinking about it hurts. Okay. Hand that disc to me at once, please. No, don't. He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars. What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Sholmes, help me! Help me, Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see. So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows, cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in a jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, the 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? How could you? Don't be such a drama queen. I was so lonely, so desperately lonely. Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know? Yes, I overheard much of your conversation, or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered. You really were sad, weren't you? Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes, I feel simply awful for you. Look at her eyes, tearing up like that. It would seem that my inferences are correct. Oh, surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again? My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, were my genius for deduction to become commoditized? How much could I pawn it for? It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration, but who knows if it will help to resolve the situation or make it worse. What's the right thing to do? What do you mean leave it? Listen to it. Yeah. I have no other choice. This is a game. Well, Mr. Strahd, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament. And where the blue bases have you been, eh? Pardon? When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. Straight away, not an hour later. Harsh. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Agate Benedict, you have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions that I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions? How? He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. Because of his name, Eggert. It would seem that once again Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction. Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I had hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Herlock Sholmes's logic and reasoning spectacular. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocketeer, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the streets. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. Oh, what's he holding in his hand? It's revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most observant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutch to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. What the heck is a ferrule? The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of the stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there's only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. Why does it say AG, the initials AG, on the handle? You recoil, sir, is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see? From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? Mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is the broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment in this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. Oh my god. To tunnel underneath the pawnbrokery. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel. What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. A safe for such fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council noticed on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area, and according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewerage works, beneath the shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway. That flows in very close proximity to the Great Vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Dint? Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. Crystal Tower. A postcard of the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway, and the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of the bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. You've just revealed important police information? Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes's great detection of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes? Well, Mr. Naruhodo? An impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree? Was it true what you said about a bank over the road and what it has in its vault? Indeed, though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Why did you say it then? Gregson told me in the strictest confidence. But you just announced it to everyone here, rather loudly in fact. Ah. And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? There can be but one explanation for that. Clearly, it is because the man is a criminal. But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret. Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windybank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all. Oh my lord, I assure you I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. Well, the European Union sees it like this as well. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them, and once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo, an excellent idea! Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure. Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again and see if we can massage it into shape. Very well then, let us start once more. Of Sherlock Holmes's magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular. Magnificent? So Sholmes was correct here. It is a lie? Maybe? But it's not a staff recruitment flyer. So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job. So he could dig down through the floor. Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he? No, I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? Cane? Stylish hat. This stylish hat does not fit his suit. That silk top hat is whiter than white. Only an English gentleman could hope to carry off something so bright. But it looks so incongruous with the black overcoat, don't you think? Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. How about it, Mr. Naruhodo? I think you'd look very fetching in a white top hat. Well, you know, I think it might look rather incongruous with my black university uniform, so... His cane? It says AG on the cane. That's a proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at that beautifully polished brass on the handle. Yes, but Mr. Sholmes is right. It's not the sort of handle you usually see on a cane. Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. It might rather suit you. I have a feeling it might argue with a sword around my waist. Oh my god, could this be a sword? Is this a sword? Not sure. I mean, if he's not for the staff recruitment flyer, if he's not here because of this, why does he have it? He doesn't look like a person who needs a job at a pawnbrokery. It certainly is a flyer for Mr. Windybank's shop. Let's see. Windybanks wants you, pawnbroker's assistant required. It's an eye-catching advertisement, that's for sure. I've seen the same flyer up here inside the shop, I think. Perhaps Mr. Windybank is always in need of more staff. So Mr. Benedict came here to apply for a job? That's just too hard to believe. Really not sure what is the right answer here. I can't click anything in the background, can I? Yeah. Maybe let's pick the cane. Oops, sorry. No, I want to presented, actually.
Take that!
Oh. Well, you can't judge a book by its cover, as they say. Someone who appears wealthy may well be poor. Being such a man, you're desperate for money. When you realize you had no real need for your cane, you brought it here today with the intention of pawning it for as much as the broker would give you. What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Oh, well, it's supposed to be a logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruhodo. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage. Sorry. God, I get penalized here too? I still don't quite understand why this gentleman came to Mr. Windybanks today. Oh, that was me, sorry. He might look like a smartly dressed man about town, but perhaps he's destitute really. I really think that's the only explanation. We must stop thinking along those lines, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, I suppose you're right. Well, in that case, perhaps there's something in this pawn shop that the man was looking for? Let's look closely and see if there's anything about his person that gives us a clue. Well, I mean... huh? I cannot pick anything else but the hat, right? But I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Do you? There are shovels right there. The handles look almost like the canes, but the cane's handle is much nicer. Oh, whoa, there's a cat! A photo of a cat here! Well, anyway, I don't think I can... Oh! The camera! Wait, the camera. Nothing. The surveillance camera. Where's the other one? I'm wondering... Oh, here it is. Well, I guess if it's not the cane, it's the hat? Probably.
Take that!
Nope. Wait. What? You can't judge a book by its cover? Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay. He does not want to pawn anything. We get it. I cannot skip the dialogue. Oh. Wait, I don't understand. There's nothing else I can click on. Yes, okay. Look closely. I mean, what? What? Look closely? I am looking closely. It can't be the staff recruitment fly. Oh! Scribbled writing? Oh! Look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name Gina Lestrade, height 5'2", green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness! There's even a sketch of her head and all. Although if you showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. And look, the details of this shop have been written down here too. Windybanks Pawnbroker, Baker Street, redemption deadline 15th April. Which is today's date. Oh, that's me. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? Okay, that is very weird. I see. I'm just thinking, he's so calm, and me and Susato-san are just like crouching around him, looking at his intensely at his person. Are you not uncomfortable with this?
Take that!
Yes. What brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse on the flyer pertain to the pickpocket, Miss Lestrade, and to Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery here. You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you to here today, by which I mean here to Windybank's pawnbrokery, and today the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down to arrive. Huh. And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. What's a ferrule? It's the metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. The bit that makes the nice clacking sound on the pavement. Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane. But it doesn't actually look broken, does it? No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious. In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Okay, the head is a red herring, so I think it's the initials here. If it really belongs to him, why does it say AG? Look here, Mr. Sato. There are some letters on the handle. Yes, those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names. So Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean? That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously. Oh. AG? Why does it feel as though that's not quite right?
Take that!
The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't... You said before that you'd had that cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see? Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue. So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Okay? Is this gentleman really the owner of the overcoat? Oh, look at that. Split seam. That is not a very airtight evidence or proof. But I guess that has to do. It's the only thing we can choose, actually.
Take that!
No room for errors. The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see? Ah. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so baldly lied about your own name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Windybank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage? Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in a proper manner using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place? How could I possibly have known the relevant details, n'est-ce pas? Oh, French! Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Oh. And your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. The method is revealed by the council notice. Nope. The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think. Yes, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. Which is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword. Yes, Professor? If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windybank would never allow you to redeem the article. Or looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windybank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? It should be written in the ledger, right? Okay, but I cannot choose the... Oh! Notelet. Revolver. Notelet? What is this photograph? What is that? Is that a picture of a sad rabbit? I can't really... Oh no, it's a dog! Oh my god, it's a dog! I swear, I'm not a bot, I swear. Look at this, Mr. Sato. It appears to be a memo that Mr. Windybank has scribbled to himself. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, Professor. Mr. Windybank must make a note of the watchwords and his customers give him right before their eyes. And in alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see? It's like when you saved a password, the customer's password in a database without hashing and without salting in clear script. Ah, what a no-no.
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Ah yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet. Notelet he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Windybank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word Professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article? Are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see this picture postcard. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which according to Mr. Windybank isn't even worth a penny. And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? I'd better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. What? We only have one evidence! Well, 4 McGilded, maybe? I mean, we can only choose. There's only one evidence. We only have one evidence. It has to be this one. And you see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. What's that on the back? It reads from Mr. McGilded. Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his loan-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you've squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Well, well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind. Pray tell, Mr. Sato. Well, according to what Mr. Windybank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the code could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited.
Well, today is 15th of April, so 2 months ago. Today.
Would have been 15th February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see.
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th February is precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding. Suggestive is not a word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose, however.
Whoa!
Oh! I must insist you hand over the music box disc now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box.
What do I do?
Oh god, I don't want to die, I have to hand over the disc. Oh my god! Holy crap. He could shoot me at any moment. I hate to give in, but what other choice do I really have here? Mr. Windybank?
This is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were happen, I should have to take my own life.
Don't point the pistol to your own head. You have to... Oh my god. Mr. Windybank, no. Alright, that's enough. Oh. Uh-oh. I think Gregson and Mr. Windybank have the same voice. Oh no. Inspector Gregson. Inspector?
That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh?
Don't you see he's holding a gun to my head?
Oh, praise be, you're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in my very own establishment.
It would seem you have the upper hand. Inspector, arrest this man! What the heck?
Right, you have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
What? That's not petty argy. I was threatened by this man with a pistol! Petty? Mr. Windybank very nearly met with his end. What? Hey, what about me?
Yeah, by his own gun, as far as I can tell. Oh dear. And the whole of Britain could meet with its end if I don't get to the bottom of the case I'm supposed to be working on.
What on earth is the case, Inspector? Spare no detail, Gregson.
I might have said a little too much. No matter, it's nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station.
Yes, thank you. But of course, Inspector.
Oh, he's getting away! Get up and let's whistle the beat officer too, sir!
Okay. Wow, how incompetent is Scotland Yard?
There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently, so we fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble.
Okay, so much for more secure than a bank.
Oh, Inspector, I was very worried there for a while, very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning.
Oh, yes.
I'll be taking that whatever it is of Mr. Gilded's, of McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
Oh, yes, of course.
No, don't! Don't give it to him! It's mine, that is mine!
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Miss McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
As evidence? If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. Poor Gina. And so we handed Mr. McGilded's disc over to Inspector Gregson and was summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street.